Hey, good morning, or good evening, depending on where you are listening, and welcome to Swahili Sunday. I actually didn't get the Swahili word for today. Let me find it. Oh well, I think I know what it is. We're talking about friends. I think friends is Rafiki, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Rafiki, friends, Rafiki. Let me put that in the banner. Word to today, the importance of having good friends. We're going to talk about create a banner friend. You can learn some Swahili from the movie The Lion King, by the way, if you didn't know that Simba means lion in Swahili. So let me see here. So the word today is friend. Oh well, I spelled that wrong. I can't even see. Let me fix that. It's Rafiki, but uh, you get the you get the drift. It's Rafiki. It means friend, and it's important to have good friends. There's a scripture that talks in Proverbs, "Iron sharpens iron, so does one sharpen another." And there's a lot of scriptures that talk about the importance of having good friends. And there is one that says uh, something about bad. Oh gosh, I saw it somewhere. Bad friends or somebody of bad character will corrupt someone of good character. I'm paraphrasing, but it's you have to be careful about the friends that you have around you. It's very important. One of the Go Pink rules of engagement, which I've talked about before in my book, the Go Pink rules of engagement, is surround yourself with people who hold you to a higher standard, not people who bring you down. And it's so important to have those people that will hold you to a higher standard, meaning they'll support you, they'll uplift you, and yeah, they'll give you good correction if they see you going astray. They'll give you good advice, but they won't tear you down or rip you down or destroy you in some way, or they won't be self-serving and where they're basically using you to get ahead for themselves, and they're not there to support you. It's important to have friends you can count on, friends for support. Nobody it it Saddleback Church is one of our slogans is we're better together. It and the thing as a veteran, veterans are known for being able to isolate. And I'm part of the veterans ministry at Saddleback Lake Forest. If you're in the Lake Forest or the Southern California, Orange County area, and you're a veteran, it's a great place to come and connect with your fellow veteran brothers and sisters. It it's easy to decide, and even me, I'm the women veterans ministry leader, and at times I feel like, oh, I just want to stay home. I don't want to go be around people or whatever, and I have to make myself go out and connect. So that's something that a lot of veterans I've talked to, we all have that same thing. Isolation is an easy thing for veterans because the I'll just talk about veterans for a minute. The issue with a veteran when you're active duty, no matter how long you were active duty for, you go through basic training, you're kind of stripped of who you were and you're brought up to support a mission and be a different kind of person. And then when you start operating that way and you get out of the military, no matter if you've served a few months, a few years, or a full career like I did, 23 years, you get out into the quote unquote real world, and it's different because people don't operate the same, and they don't understand you. They don't understand your level of maybe energy or the way you operate. Like there's a thing about um there was an admiral who was giving a speech, and he was talking about one of the things to do every day is make your bed because you've accomplished something for that day. I automatically make my bed every day. If I don't make my bed, there's something wrong with me. Because it's like I'm either sick or the bed's going, the sheets are going to get changed or whatever. It's just something I do every day. But a lot of people don't do that, and it's suggested for people who haven't been in the military that that is something that you should do every day because you have a sense of accomplishment. And he said even if you have a bad day and you come home, you at least have a nice made bed that you can get into that was put together nicely before you started your day, basically. So, for veterans, it's an easy thing to do to isolate, and there's a so I suggest if you are a veteran and you're not in Southern California, but you're somewhere else, find a veterans group to go to. Find a place where there's veterans that you can connect with, because isolation, being alone and not having anybody to support you, not having anybody to connect with, it's very it's lonely, but it's also you're isolated from the world, you have no support system there. Who do you call for help? And that's why it's important, one reason, to have good friends that you can turn to for support. And some people feel guilty reaching out to people for support. Oh, I don't want to bother you. I don't want to be a burden. One of my friends actually asked me to give them a ride for a medical procedure, and it's like, "Oh, I don't want to bother you." And I said, "Well, would you do it for me?" "Mm, yes." "Okay, we're friends. I'm going to do it for you." That's what friends do. They're there to support each other and lift each other up, and versus tear each other down. And I've had situations where now I'll speak to the women, like I'm an older woman, quote unquote. And sometimes it's easy to allow friendships to happen just because you need help. And that friendship might not be so healthy for you. And I've had that situation happen to me where, with my back and stuff, there's people that I've allowed to help me that were not necessarily doing it for the right reasons or doing it to help me out. They were doing it for a different reason or whatever, and having them around was a big burden and a big a stressor on my life. I remember thinking, "Okay, I need some help. Okay, if I call this person, I'm going to have to deal with all this stuff to have this person help me." So sometimes I would trade peace of mind for the help, and that's not healthy either. I would rather I decided I'd rather pay somebody to help me than to have that kind of situation in my life, especially when things get out of hand and they act a way that they should not. So, also had a friend. Sometimes you think that, oh, okay, this person's put in my life, for me to help them, and you can't help somebody. Well, the last strategy in my book is you can't negotiate with crazy. And I will say this, if you have pets, dogs, cats, whatever, that go up to people when they come in your house, or you're go around, they're with you, maybe you have a dog, you take them with you, pay attention to them. They have a good sense of people, and they know when somebody's genuine and hard, or when somebody is got pure intentions, or when somebody is not necessarily good. I had many years ago, gosh, must be 15 years ago or whatever, this friend who is, came to my house. We were starting to potentially do some business together. She came in my house and my cats ran, and my one cat, Meow Mix. If you ever come in my house and sit down, be prepared to be furniture, because she will come and, like, "Oh, new person, I'm gonna come and sit on your lap." She does that to everybody, unless they're allergic to cats or whatever, and they're like, "Okay, no, I can't do that," then I put her somewhere. But if you're sitting there, she will sit on you. She ran into my bedroom, and my dog at the time, I had a chocolate lab who died in 2013. She was almost 14 years old, lived a very long, spoiled life, and, she went the other way. She always would go up to people wagging. So if you have pets and somebody comes in your house and the pets go the other direction, now there are some pets that are skittish around people, but if you have pets that normally go up to people and they're friendly with people, they run the other way, you better pay attention and listen to that, because I did not do that and ended up, with a crazy person on my hands. That's a long, long story, but it was short-lived, but the amount of crazy in the short amount of time caused me so much stress that I had actually an anxiety attack from it, and, it, uh, it was not good. It taught me a lesson about who to have around. That's why it's important to surround yourself with people who hold you to a higher standard, people that care about you and connect to you, that, were there to help you, to support you, to uh, Here's a proverb: "One who has unreliable friends soon comes to ruin, but there is a friend who sticks closer than a brother." You want to have those people that stick to you like their family, that you can call them, "Gosh, I need this. I need some help. I need to do this. I need will you come help me?" And they're happy to do it because they're there to support you, and likewise you support them. And but uh, don't be one of those friends that keeps score. I don't know if you've ever had somebody like that. "Well, I helped you on this occasion, so you owe me. You need to help me now on this occasion." Like, okay, you're keeping score. I'm just helping you out of the goodness of my heart. We're friends. That's what friends do. So you want to make sure that uh, you're just very cognizant of who your friends are. I don't just let anybody in my house. Very few people come to my house. I've had a little event here once. I live in a very nice little condo, and I have a nice patio. It's very peaceful. It's my sanctuary space. And when somebody who's kind of a little crazy comes into your space, they bring that crazy in with them, and the stress in the house. Your space needs to be a place of rest and peace. Now, if you have somebody like, for instance, I grew up in chaotic alcoholism. I probably I would expect my body was on alert, high alert all the time, because you never knew what was going to happen with my parents. My mother was a raging alcoholic. You never knew what was going to set her off or what kind of crazy was going to come up with. My dad was a I guess you could call him a passive alcoholic, but he would go play golf on the weekends, and he would come home like drunk out of his mind. And this was back in the day. He drove that way. It wasn't that far, but still, he drove from the golf course to the house and drunk, because he would come stumbling in, and then my parents would get in a knockdown, drag out fight, screaming, yelling, throwing things, whatever. Sometimes they even threw each other. That was rare, but it did happen. So you think about being in chaos in that kind of a house. Parents would not let their friends come and spend the night at my house. I didn't understand why until being an adult and understanding what that must have looked like to parents, because everybody in the neighborhood, in the community, knew that my mother was a falling down, kind of raging alcoholic, and they knew my father drank too, but, I can imagine what they saw when they saw my family and did not I could go spend the night at somebody else's house, but somebody else couldn't spend the night at my house. I remember becoming friends with this one girl in the 5th grade. She had a horse. I was horse crazy, and, it was great being friends with her, but the best part was going to spend the night at her house, because I remember her family would always be loving towards each other and, say love you and this and that, which is why I tell my kids that. I got that from them. I used to love to go over there because it was an escape from the chaos in my house. So I had a good friend whose family also recognized my need for escape. So that helped me out a lot. But as you go through life, you want to make sure that you are surrounded by people who support you, who are good friends with you, who believe the same way that you do. You, I'm a believer. I'm a Christian, so I surround myself with other Christians. That I do have friends that aren't Christians. I have a very close friend that's not a Christian, and I'm always dropping in Jesus on him every now and then, like, well, maybe you should give him a try. So one day, but th- you want to surround yourself with friends who are not toxic, who uh, are not nasty, argumentative. What happens when you go out? How do those people act in public? Or not to say that people don't get upset. I get upset. I get upset when people do me wrong or whatever, but usually in public don't have I can be very firm, but I'm not going to be nasty and have an outburst where I'm screaming at somebody or whatever. You probably have seen videos of, "Oh, don't you know who I am or what I do?" Who cares? You're acting like an idiot. You don't want to be Do you want to be around people like that? Do you want those people to be your friends? Not only is it not good for you because you're stuck there in the middle of that, but think about what it's doing to you in here. I don't know, some I pass up the videos. There's a sometimes when I'm working, I like to watch the show Pawn Stars because they're always I'm always waiting for somebody during that show to haggle back and do an up your price thing because 'cause they'll be like, "Oh, I'll offer you $5,000." "Well, how about 6?" "Well, how about 5,500?" "Well, how about 6,500?" I never hear anybody go I just love to I would love to have something that I could take there to be on that show and do that. I don't see anybody do that, so I always watch to see if anybody will ever do that. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that. Anyway, it's a kind of a no nonsense kinda thing. It's fun to listen to um, when I'm not listening to maybe a message or something. But you can, if you're scrolling by, there's things where people are screaming there at each other for something. Somebody's videotaping somebody screaming and losing their mind or whatever. You got to stop and when you watch that stuff and see what it does to you, like feel what it does to your spirit because as soon as you maybe switch that off I've noticed at times when maybe I'm wanting to know what the traffic is or whatever, just listen to what's going on, and then I switch it over to, either a Christian station or some kind of music. The feeling in my body changes, it softens, I feel relaxed. So when you're exposing yourself to people who friends perhaps who are volatile or nasty or uh, screaming, yelling, whatever, it does something to you inside too. You tense up, you stress out, you it could make yourself sick doing that. So that's why it's important to surround yourself with the right kind of people, the people who are going to support you, the people who are going to be there for you, and you likewise for them, and lift each other up. Iron sharpens iron. That means you're sharpening each other. You're making each other better. The relationship makes each other a better person. It doesn't bring the other person down. And when somebody's down, the other one lifts them up. And when somebody else is down, the other one lifts them up. And it's a mutually beneficial thing. And you want to make sure that the friends that you have support you, believe in you, uh, are there for you, and and you may have some friends like that you haven't connected with for a while. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to go meet one of my good friends that I haven't seen in a while. We're going to catch up. And I'm making it a point to do that with my friends because I want to stay in contact with people that are like-minded like me and that I care about, even if they don't live here. That's the great thing about Zoom. You can Zoom and connect with somebody. Take the time to do that. Don't get so busy that you don't connect with people, because then when you're out there and you need somebody and you haven't connected with anybody and you've isolated yourself or you've cut yourself off from people, then you're going to feel guilty about, well, I don't want to reach out to them for help. They haven't heard from me in forever. So we get so busy, the busy person syndrome, that we can get so caught up in our life that one, we don't take time for ourselves, and two, we don't take time to connect with our friends. So that's about all I wanted to share today. By the way, if you are local in the Southern California area, August 5th, 6th, and 7th, I'm going to be at the Hilton Pasadena. There's a big bead and design show there. I would love for you to stop by and check out the Baskets and Beads booth. My director, my creative director is going to be, we've designed a really cool space. So I'd love for you, there's going to be chairs to sit down. So I'd love for you to come there. September 17th, save the date. It's going to be a Tea with a Purpose. That is an event that's going to be at a house, and more to follow on that. And we are looking at doing an outdoor market in October in Santa Ana at the Blue Lot. So that tenant, we don't have that dialed in yet, but those are some things that are coming up. There's also a bead and design show in Culver City, but in October. But this one, I would love for you to come by, see some of the new products that I brought back from Kenya, like the aprons and the new dog bandanas and some of the new baskets and other things that I brought back. So I'd love to see you. I'd love to connect with you. If you're local to Long Beach, stop by Fair Trade Long Beach. And also, we are getting ready to do a farming project. I need to write a blog post about that so you all can see about that. And we're still sponsoring kids for school. So if you know of any organizations that might be interested in helping with the sponsorship, get in touch with me. You can PM me here or email me at eldana@basketsandbeadskenya.com. Or if you want to just go donate, that's you can do that as well at the basketsandbeads.org website. And there's a place for you to specify what it's for. Our school fee program, the purpose of that is to cover school fees until the ladies can cover them themselves. We don't want to be a permanent. Right now we have it to where, okay, we're going to pay the fees, you pay for the supplies. And there's a lot of supplies. I don't even know how it is so expensive. It's so expensive for them to go to school. And the median income for Kenya is about $220 a month. I can't imagine, like the one kid, Aloys, who's in Form 1, which is freshman year in high school, it was like $1,000 to get him set up for school fees and all the supplies he needed. There's families here who couldn't afford that. I can't even imagine. So we're working. That's a kid that we've been helping his support. We had a sponsor for him, and the sponsor disappeared, but we've kept on keeping on for him and Saumu. Now we're sponsoring school fees for 6 more kids in the Kipsongo slum, and that's the agreement we have with their parents to provide the supplies, or the parents provide the supplies and we provide the school fees. We're working to get sustainability. Full sustainability would be a full them to be able to pay all the school fees, but until basketsandbeadskenya.com gets more sales, we are still we're not able to order on a regular basis, so we're working into that, obviously. So that's about all I have for today. And again, I would love for you to come. I think it is on the Facebook page. I'm going to put it in the group and on the regular my regular profile as to the dates for August 5th through 7th for the Bead and Design Show. Would love for you all to come. Actually, I think I have a picture. I can just show it up here too, which would be kind of cool. It's at the Hilton Pasadena. There it is. Bead and Design Show. We have a nice booth set up, 10 by 12 booth. Going to be a lot of product there. Love for you to come and see. Have a great rest of your weekend. Nakupenda.